Hello, good afternoon everyone. So last session we have discussed about biopharmaceutics. We have seen the ADME, absorption, distribution, metabolism, excretion, and then we have come across this bioavailability and bioequivalence. So in this section we are going to deal about compartment modeling. So once we have all these parameters in mind, so the other thing we need to do is we need to calculate the pharmacokinetic parameters like VD, clearance, all these T-half, pharmacokinetic parameters such that the drug is viable for up to how much period we can easily estimate. So in order to do that, we need to comprehend whatever the information we have in the body physiological model to the nearest possible mathematical model such that the parameters can be calculated, ascertained and weighed. So today's session is about the various pharmacokinetic models which simulate the physiological parameters. So we are going to get to that. So first of all, let us see the contents to be covered in this session. So we are going to cover what is a mathematical model, we are going to see what is a compartment model, see the different classifications of pharmacokinetic models, the one compartment model, two compartment model. So let us get across these topics. So first topic is what is a mathematical model. So in our body there are several things happening at a time. So absorption, distribution, metabolism, excretion. So just like a chemical reaction, our drug is also getting absorbed, distributed, metabolized and excreted. But the thing is, for a clinical pharmacist we should be knowing at what particular time it is getting absorbed and what particular time it is completely eliminated from the body. So in order to do that, we need to have a mathematical expression to know at what particular time is the concentration 0 and what particular time is the concentration 50%. So that is where this mathematical model will be helping. So mathematical description of the biological system and use it to express quantitative relationships. So it will give me a number such that all the drug related metrics can be quantified using that relationship and using that equation. So mathematical models are a collection of quantities, operations and relations together, and they must be realistic and practical. So just like we are having this first order model or zero order model, we also develop a differential model such that we can easily calculate the pharmacokinetic parameters. So that's a mathematical model which is used to quantify the metrics, physiological metrics. So what are the qualities of a mathematical model? So it should be having validity. So whatever the things we do, it should be uniform, consistent and appropriate. Every time we use the equation, it should not be erratic and should not show different relationships each and every time we employ it. It should be having sufficient prediction ability. It should be having consistency of the results. Every time we should get a uniform result such that the results can be comprehensible. So what are the applications of pharmacokinetic models? So why we are doing all these things? We are doing all these things to calculate some metrics. What are the parameters we are going to calculate? It is helpful in characterizing the behavior of drugs in the patient. So is it following a first order kinetics or a zero order kinetics? We can able to know. Next, it is helpful in calculating the optimum dosage regimen. See, sometimes a drug is better acting if it is given 2 times a day. A drug is better acting if it is given 1 time a day. How a pharmacist comes to know about that 1 time a day or 2 time a day? We can do that by using this pharmacokinetic models. So evaluating the bioequivalence between different formulations. Sometimes we have a tablet, we have a gel, we have a capsule. So which one is the best one for the given case scenario? We can estimate it theoretically by using this mathematical models. So determine the influence of altered physiology or disease. So whatever the calculations we do, it always represents a male adult whose weight is 70 kg. So not every person is a male, not every person is an adult, not every person weighs 70 kg. So then how can we modify your characteristics to that different particular person, custom tailoring to that particular person? We can do that by having this mathematical models. Will employ some correction factors which will compensate for this altered physiology or altered disease rate. Explaining the drug interaction. See, sometimes even though your drug preparation is good, even though all the patient related parameters are fine, but still drug is behaving in an odd manner. So why that happens? That happens due to interaction between two drugs when they are co-administered with each other. So it can be calculated theoretically before in hand itself by using this pharmacokinetic models. So what are the kinds of pharmacokinetic models? So the kinds are compartment models, physiological models, non-compartmental analysis, NCA. So let us go through them one by one. So what is a compartment model? So compartment model is the one which will classify the models as into different compartments, and the physiological models, let us go through them one by one. So one is compartmental models. A compartment is a group of tissues with similar blood flow and drug affinity. So in the compartmental modeling, so we'll divide our body into different compartments: peripheral compartment and central compartment. So what do you mean by peripheral compartment? See, there are some tissues in our body like tissues, skin, bones, muscles, whose blood supply is poor, not so fast, not so rapid, whereas there are certain organs like brain, lungs, kidney, whose blood supply is very rapid, very fast. So we'll divide our body into two compartments in a two compartment model, where the tissues which are receiving thorough or rapid supply of blood are categorized under central compartment. The tissues which are receiving less amount of blood supply are categorized as peripheral compartment. So by doing that, we can easily appropriate the parameters. We can calculate approximately how much is the drug present in that central compartment, how much is the drug present in peripheral compartment. So that is the idea behind the compartment models. We'll divide the body into compartments. It can be one compartment, two compartment, or multi-modal compartments. So then what is the main assumptions, what is the agenda behind this compartmental models? So the assumptions are: body is represented as series of compartments. So body will be divided into different compartments, as I have said before. So these compartments are homogeneous with respect to circulation and with respect to the blood flow. So it can be one, two, or many compartments. So the rate of drug movement between these compartments is described by first order kinetics. So you already know what is first order. First order is concentration dependent kinetics. So we assume that the movement of drug between these compartments 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 is dependent on first order kinetics, that is concentration dependent kinetics, and the rate constants whichever we are using, k0 or k1, are used to represent the rate of entry or rate of exit. Say for example, this is your compartment. So the rate of entry is given as k1 for absorption, and rate of exit is given as ke for elimination. This can also be represented as ka and ke. So a statistical analysis, so we can plot a AUC curve or AUMC curve such that we can calculate how much amount of drug is present with respect to a particular time interval. So what are the applications? The main applications are: it is simple and flexible approach, since we are approximating our body into different compartments and the total drug is the sum of all these compartments. It is a flexible approach. We can extrapolate it or we can interpolate it to obtain the suitable parameters. Next, it gives a visual representation of various rate processes. So whatever the rate process which are occurring, it gives me a visual picture of how the drug is behaving in the body and helps in imagining how the drug will practically behave in the body. It is useful in predicting drug concentration time profile. So at what particular time is your drug going to get depleted in the body, such that we can design a dosage regimen which will release the drug uniformly throughout the period of day. So it is useful in relating plasma drug levels in therapeutic and toxic effects of the body. So sometimes some drugs are accumulating in the body beyond the maximum safe concentration, which will lead to adverse effect. So we can do that. We can calculate at what concentration it is going to be toxic, and we'll avoid that concentration by using this compartment models. It is simple and allows for easy tabulation of all the metrics such as VD, volume of distribution, T half, elimination half-life, and all the clearance, all such related parameters. So what are the types of compartment models? As I have said previously, depending upon how many compartments you assume, it can be a mammillary model, catenary model, open model, or closed model. So we'll get through this in the coming slides. So what is a mammillary model? So it is the most widely employed model. So according to this model, the body is consisting of one or more peripheral compartments which are connected to a central compartment. So what is our assumption principally is, we have a central compartment which is having high perfusion rates. All our peripheral compartments like skin, muscles, tendons, bones, etc., they were connected connected to this central compartment. So your drug will move from central compartment to peripheral compartment and from outside to inside. So there is a bidirectional flow from center to periphery and periphery to center. So that's the basic assumption behind this mammillary model. So this is the closest approach to the physiological model and gives you much more precise data, but unfortunately this is so complex and can't be calculated easily like other open compartment models. So depiction of various models. So let us suppose we are dealing with one compartment open model. So one compartment assumes that our body is divided into a single compartment. So in this model we assume that our entire body is having one compartment, that is the rate of blood flow, the rate of excretion, everything is going one and the same all throughout the body. So whatever the drug which is coming outside, we are going to calculate, the parameter we are going to obtain is excretion rate constant Ke, which is again a first order rate kinetics. So model 2, we can assume a one compartment open model with first order absorption. See, sometimes when we give a drug by extravascular administration, so there is a rate constant Ka and there is an elimination constant Ke. So open model in the sense the drug is going to travel out of the body, closed model in the sense it is going to get accumulated in the body. So two compartment open model, as the name is suggesting, our body is divided into two compartments, central compartment and peripheral compartment. So your drug will move from the central to periphery and periphery to central. So from where? From the central compartment where the kidney is present, from which it is going to get excreted outside. So there is a two compartment open model with first order absorption. So if you are giving drug by IV, this model is applicable because all the drug is absolutely bioavailable. So but sometimes if you are giving by oral route, not every drug is having 100% bioavailability. It may be 70% bioavailable or 80% bioavailable. Hence Ka comes into the equation and also Ke will be present in this model. So catenary model. So what is catenary? Catenary means chain. So the word catenary means chain. So here, as the name is suggesting, in this model all the compartments are connected or chained together to each other. Say for example, this is compartment 1, 2, 3. So the moment, let us call this moment the rate order constant with the name of this travel. The travel name is 1 to 2. So we are calling this as K12. Here the travel is from 1 to 3. We are calling this as K13. So it is coming back. Suppose it is coming from third compartment to second compartment. Let us give the name as K31. So the rate constant naming is very simple. It is given according to the movement from which compartment to other compartment. So K31 is movement of drug from third compartment to first compartment, towards the first compartment. So let us have a brief discussion about this one compartment open model. So one compartment open model, so we'll have first some assumptions, then we'll discuss in detail about this one compartment open model. So the time course of drug concentration determined after the administration can be satisfactorily explained by assuming that body is entirely comprising of only one compartment. So there is no central, there is no periphery. So we are assuming for simplicity that all the body is a homogeneous single unit. The body is constituted as a single kinetically homogeneous unit, as I have said before. So elimination, whatever the elimination Ke occurring, it is a first order process, that is a concentration dependent process. So drugs move dynamically in and dynamically out of this compartment. So these are the assumptions behind this one compartment open model. So the term open, why we are calling this as open? Because the input and output are unidirectional. So they are moving out, but they are not entering in. So hence this is an open model. So it's going out. So it's a sink like model. So one compartment open model is generally used to describe plasma levels following administration of single dose. So if you are giving a single dose of injection, IV injection, it is better explained by a open compartment, one compartment open model. So what is the classification of this one compartment open model? So depending upon the rate of input, several one compartment models can be classified. So one is intravenous bolus administration, that is a single injection, or continuous intravenous infusion. If you are giving a saline, normal saline, it comes under this second classification. If not, if you are giving a tablet, it will be coming under third classification. One compartment open model, extravascular zero order absorption. So if you see, until now we have discussed about first order, but this becomes a zero order, that is a concentration independent kinetics. So there is also last classification, one compartment open model, extravascular first order absorption. As the name is suggesting, first order is a concentration dependent kinetics. So let us first discuss about intravenous bolus administration. That means if you are giving IM or IV or subcutaneous injection, that this model will be appropriate, apt for your drug study. So there is this blood and other body tissues. Since you are administering directly, it is absolutely bioavailable, 100% bioavailable. Now the drug is coming out, so that is described by this K1. So first order rate constant. So this is since we have this curve which is having a sigmoid relationship, we can't calculate the area under this curve. So for example, if we have a straight line, the area under this line can be calculated. Since it is having a perfect triangle shape, I can use the formula half AB. Or if there is any particular shape like this, so this is looking like a square, so we can use the formula A square. If it is looking like a rectangle, we can use a formula A into B, length into breadth. But here, since it's a sigmoid curve, I can't calculate the area perfectly. So hence I will divide this line into slices. Each slice, let us call it this as x1, x2, x3. So if you want to get the difference, it is x2 minus x1. So what is x2 minus x1? It's a difference, delta x. So instead of calling delta x, let me call this as dx. So dx, that is change in concentration, by dt, that is change in concentration by change in time. So dx by dt. So that is how this word, this term comes into the equation, dx by dt. Since we can't calculate the area under curve, we will divide into slices. Each slice's rate of change in concentration with respect to particular time, dx by dt or delta x by delta t is equal to, is a function of this. It is directly proportional to elimination rate constant and its concentration. So that's how this equation comes into existence. So estimation of pharmacokinetic parameters by IV bolus injection. So how can we estimate these parameters? We can estimate these parameters by using these equations, first order equations. Log C is equal to log C naught minus KET by 2.303. Next. So this is just a graphical representation how we can calculate. So we'll plot a graph between time and concentration. So we'll see the linearity. If the linearity is followed, we'll estimate the slope, and we can estimate the rate order constant using this equation, log C minus C2. Two different concentrations divided by 2.303 into time difference. So in such manner we can calculate this rate constant. We can also calculate this half-life. T half is equal to 0.693 by K. And we can calculate this clearance. So what is meant by clearance? So clearance is the amount of drug which is getting eliminated from the body, cleared from a particular tissue for a given time interval, is called as clearance. It is calculated by change in this dx by dt with respect to the initial concentration C naught. Will get the clearance. That is all this intravenous bolus injection. So in the next session we are going to discuss about intravenous infusion, where we will have a detailed perception how this infusion is going to take place and how it is used to calculate the parameters. So that's it for today's session. We'll meet in the next session. Thank you.